Hey everyone, and welcome to Already Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Star Trek The Original Series, Season 2, Episode 15. It is called The Trouble with Tribbles. Full spoilers for the episode, as always. I'm also impressed I did not screw that up. I was worried that I was going to end up saying trebles or something stupid like that, but no, I nailed it. So, this is of course a very famous episode. In fact, the Blu-ray set in which I watched this has an entire disc devoted to this one episode because it has lots of extras just for the episode. You know,
It's kind of crazy, isn't it?
it's 4 or 5 episodes per disc. Then you get to disc 4, and it's no, just tribbles. That's all you're getting in this disc is just tribbles. So
Yes, they multiplied.
I don't even no no. So so what is the trouble with Tribbles? What is the episode actually about? It's obviously you've got the Tribbles themselves, which this salesman on this space station sells one, or doesn't even sell. He actually gives one to Uhura. He's selling them to the barman, but he gives one to Uhura, and they end up multiplying. They well, I don't even think breeding's the right word because they don't even have sex. They just procreate, just kind of
Yes,
by default,
asexual reproduction.
and they're just kind of multiplying and multiplying around the ship, and that's going on, and that's kind of this comedy half of the episode. Obviously, they play into the main plot as well by the time we get to the end, but it's largely kind of a separate thing for a lot of the episode. Whereas the rest of the plot is at the space station. They've been called in by the Undersecretary of Agriculture for the sector. That's a very long title. Barris, I think his name is. He calls them in. Kirk's not very happy with them because he called them in with a red alert.
Emergency alert.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was priority one alert. Yeah, which is meant for like we're under attack, come and save us. So it's an abuse of power. But he's there because he wants them to guard his grain. There's a fancy name for it, and Kirk's never heard of it. In fact, one of the laughs I had in this episode is when he says what it's called, and Kirk just goes, "What?" He's confused, and everyone else seems to know what this is but him. But it's grain. He wants them to guard his grain because the Klingons might come for it because it's going to go down to this planet, Sherman's planet, which is a planet that both the humans and the Klingons, or not the humans, but the Federation and the Klingons are both wanting to gain access to. But under the treaty, they both have like right to try and claim it, and they have to prove which one is more suitable for it. So he's worried the Klingons may try and interfere. Kirk is pissed at the way he's been asked. He's asked of this, so he's very catty about it. And Spock's like, "Nah, they should be guarded." So he's like, "All right, send down 2 and only 2 guards." And obviously Barris is like, "Only 2. This is diabolical. You should be stripped of your title, Captain." He's very upset.
Yeah.
And the Klingons do show up. We have some altercations between the Klingons and the ship's crew, which again leads to some. This is a very funny episode. I think
It
this
is
is.
a very funny episode.
I was cracking up several times throughout this, based on a few different scenes.
Yeah.
So I mean, I feel like you've already spoiled your opinion, but did you enjoy the Trouble with Tribbles?
I think it's very clear that I did. What's not to love about Tribbles? The annoying little bastards that they are.
Yeah, yeah. Much better than Progs.
Porgs. And no,
Porgs.
nothing is better than Porgs because Porgs are life.
You haven't even seen what the Porg is in the context of the movie
Porg
yet.
is life.
Tribbles are better.
Tribbles are just little hairballs. Porgs are space puffins.
You say that as
You can't beat space puffins.
you say that as if regular puffins are anything to write home about.
They're not, but space puffins. Oh, yeah.
So yeah, no, it's a lot of fun this episode, and it gives a lot of different characters. Sulu is oddly absent, but it gives a lot of other characters times to really shine. Chekhov gets moments, Scotty gets moments, Uhura gets moments. Obviously, Kirk, Spock, and McCoy always get moments, but so them too. But everyone gets moments to shine in this episode. In terms of the comedy, which I think is obviously the big thing of this episode, like some of the standout moments. Obviously, you have like, once the Klingons are there as well, and like they're on shore leave, and you've got Chekhov with Scotty and a couple of red shirts in the canteen in this area at the bar, and you've got a table of Klingons, and one of the Klingons is like, "Oh, Starfleet, I'm going to go and insult." And he starts making fun of Captain Kirk, And as it's happening, Chekhov's like downing his vodka. He's like really upset, and he's holding it. And Scotty's like, "No, no, Chekhov, we're not to engage."
We can play a couple of insults.
In fact, Kirk even asked him specifically, "Make sure nothing happens. Make sure there's no altercations."
Yeah, he sent Scotty down. It's like you're the senior officer. You go down and make sure they stay in line.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, "No, Chekhov." And Chekhov, like every time the Klingon says something else, he's like, "Oh," and he's drinking more vodka to try and stop himself from
he goes
fighting
like
back.
pounding his fists on the table, stand up.
And it's hilarious. I mean, this is funny on its own. And then he's like, "Yeah, and that ship you fly around in, the Enterprise, it should be hauled to the garbage." And that's when Scotty just gets up and punches him. And this is funny, and it sets off this big fight scene, which is also funny because you have the salesman, what's his name, Jones. He's using this as an opportunity to sneak behind the bar, and he's just pouring himself multiple drinks, and he's just drinking, and especially on his way out, where the barman grabs his drink and he thinks, oh, this son lost his drink, but then he pulls another one out of his pocket. Just really funny kind of slapsticky stuff going on during the scene. That said, all of this pales in comparison to after this.
Oh, yes, it does.
So Kirk has got all the men who were involved lined up on the ship, and he's like, "This is, you're all confined to quarters. Tell me who started this. Until you do, everyone's confined. You're big trouble. I told you this not to happen." And they're all leaving. He's like, "No, Scotty, not you. I want to talk to you."
No, he keeps going like, "Who started the fight?" Like, I don't recall.
Yeah, because he doesn't hold Scotty back because he's suspicious. He holds Scotty back because, oh, you're the senior officer and you're like more my equal, so I'm going to talk to you about what's going on down here. He's like, well, it becomes clear that it was Scotty, and he's like, he insulted you, Captain. He said all these things about you. He's like, oh, so then you hit him? No, we can take a few insults, sir, can't we? He's like, yes, I suppose we can.
Yeah, Kirk's face is like, oh, you should have just hit him for that already.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, you didn't hit him for that, and you can just see it in his face. He's not saying it, but you can see he's bothered by this. So what did you hit him for? He's like, well, he called the Enterprise a garbage skull, sir. So it can't have that point of pride. He's like, so you hit him for that, but not for... And he doesn't even finish his... He realises that he's going to get a bit vain, and he just doesn't finish his sentence.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, it's a matter of pride, sir. And he's like, I see.
This killed me, not gonna lie.
Yeah, this scene is glorious. Scotty was
potentially the funniest scene in the show.
Although there's a scene that rivals it later on as well, though. There's several moments. This is easily the funniest episode the show's had.
Easily.
At the end of the episode, after they've dealt with everything, and Kirk's on crew, and obviously throughout the episode the Tribbles have been multiplying, and we get to the point where there's Tribbles everywhere, and Kirk is pissed off because there's Tribbles all over the bridge, all over the elevator, all over everywhere, in the food dispensers, everything. And he's like, okay, so did we deal with the Tribbles? What happened? And Spock's like, oh, it was Scotty who oversaw that. He came up with the idea. It's like, oh, it was me, sir, yes, indeed. But it was Spock who enacted the main part of the plan. It's like, oh, yes, very well, but it was Scotty who really had the core of the idea.
This back and forth, shifting the blame.
And Kirk's just like, oh, go on, someone tell me what happened to the Tribbles. Like, well, we used the transporters, sir. And it's like, oh, we gave the Klingons all the Tribbles, which is amusing, but it's the back and forth of not wanting to admit what they did, which is actually really funny, especially when one of them's Spock. That just makes it doubly funny.
It is. But is there anything funnier than Kirk sat in a pile of Tribbles with every 3 seconds another one just being thrown down on his head?
I feel like that was a fun day on set. I feel like they had this shoot above, and there's just like
every so often you can see him just grit his teeth and go, "Will you bastard stop throwing these on me?"
I just imagine, obviously it's a set. I imagine that there's just behind the wall there's a ladder, and there's a couple of stagehands just throwing these Tribbles down the chute.
But the thing is, you get the big explosion of hundreds of them, or whatever, and then the whole scene goes on. He's just sat in this pile of them. And every 3 or 4 seconds, just one comes down right on his head. Bonk. There's another one. Bonk.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of talk about what the Tribbles are, and Klingons don't very like them, and that's kind of the big plot point, is that the Tribble reacts negatively to a Klingon. Doesn't like Klingons. Likes everything else. Likes humans. Likes Vulcans. Is friendly with everything, and it's actually like the thing they've opened all the Tribbles around was where the grain was stored, but the big notable thing is not only that the Tribbles have ate the grain, is that the grain is poisoned because the Tribbles will start dying, and they have to look into this. And it turns out the Klingons were maybe trying to sabotage the getting the planet sorted, and they want them to look better and whatnot. But it wasn't the main Klingons themselves, at least as far as they can tell. But there's some Tribbles in the room, and they basically discover that there's a Klingon agent. It's actually the Barry's assistant is actually a Klingon secretly, which someone actually told us to keep note of this episode in relation to the current plot of Star Trek Discovery, which I get why, precedent. To be fair though, the Klingons in this show actually just look human anyway.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I almost wanted to say, you could never get away with this now, because... No, not in the same way as this.
Not in the same way. That said, there's things to talk about with Discovery. I've even had some more thoughts about how it might actually be working and stuff. I don't want to give anything away as to what's going on in that show, but let's just say there's Klingons and potentially disguises happening. But anyway, so they figure out this guy's a sleeper, not a sleeper, but like an undercover Klingon agent, and they're like, okay, so it's the Klingons, and you deal with this, and they make the guy who was selling the Tribbles, he has to stay here and clean the station because now the station's overrun with the bloody things, and all this, and he's not very happy because it's going to take, as Spock points out, it's going to take 17.9 years to clean all these Tribbles up.
Do you know the only way you could improve this episode?
Mm-hmm.
If the salesman was Harry Mudd.
I can see it actually.
It works.
He's not a million miles away from Harry. He's not as bad as Harry Mudd in terms of his
no, but you can kind of
character.
see Harry pulling that kind of con.
Yeah, I can see it. It's interesting. It's interesting. I feel like, you could do that. You could do that. I think what was really strong about this episode is that it is a really goofy, funny episode, but at the same time, it's actually like probably the best episode so far with a Klingon plot.
Yeah, I like that the Klingons, like, they've got a plan. They're poisoning the grain. They're undercover. They're interesting because they're actively antagonizing our crew. There's this rivalry.
Yeah,
they're pushing the limits. Also, I love that they know what Tribbles are already, because he sees that and he's like, get that thing away from me. I don't want those pests anywhere near me or my ship. He knows what they're gonna do.
It's funny. It is a shame that they don't look like Klingons from later, because I feel like
it would be funnier.
Yeah, because just imagine that scene where he stands up and starts insulting Kirk in the bar. Imagine next gen Klingons or even Discovery Klingons doing that and cracking their jokes and be like, "Hey, that Kirk's a coward."
Oh, it's way funnier. Yeah.
Whatever. It would amplify it even more.
Do you know what I'd love as well? And then they turn back to their own people and say something in Klingon.
Yeah.
We don't get the subtitles. I don't want to know what they said. Just the tongue behind the back in the other language gag.
Yeah. Like, there's so much stuff, and it's funny because as much as we're saying we could improve it, we're not actually saying it needs to be improved. It's actually it's solid gold. There's a reason why this episode is
fantastic episode.
There's a reason why this episode is treated with such high regard and why it's well remembered. It has so many good character moments for different characters. A lot of them get a chance to say, we mentioned Chekhov in the bar scene, but also at the start of the episode, they're kind of like training Chekhov. Like Kirk and Spock are like questioning him on stuff, and he's getting things wrong. He's like attributing like things to like a Russian person, and he's like, this was so and so from 20th century Britain or whatever. He's like, oh yes, Britain, yes.
And then it goes, this grain that Kirk doesn't know what it's called, and then they mention it, and Chekhov's like, oh yeah, that, it's from Russia.
and Kirk's like, does everyone know about this grain but me? Like, it's full of. Do you know what I think makes it so effective as well? I feel like so very few episodes of Star Trek, even the good ones, these I mean specifically original series, how many of them have had multiple plots that have like intertwined so well as much as these end up doing?
Very few. Typically, the best episodes pick one plot and just
stick with it. It's very focused, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like this one works so well because the Tribbles are so separate from the actual like conflict of the Klingons and this guy wanting his grain protected, and then it all comes together by the end of the episode. And the Tribbles are even useful. So they even kind of, you can't even hate them for being annoying because they kind of have a purpose in the end. They're a Klingon detection system.
Yeah, they're brilliant, and I think it's a testament to the writing that it's fun. It's it's fun as hell. It has great character moments and multiple plots that intertwine properly. Like, man, that's even by today's standards, I'd say if you can hit all of that in an episode, you're doing it right.
Yeah, and you never expect them to hit this all the time, and Star Trek clearly doesn't. Of course, it doesn't. But this is classic for a reason, and it's just I want to just imagine the writers' room when they came up with the idea for Tribbles. There's balls with fur that kind of purr a little bit and make the odd little gizmo-like noise.
I'm glad they addressed that they don't have a head or anything, because they kind of mention it's like just give it a pat on the head if you can find the head. It's like it's a ball of fur.
They constantly reference the fact that they like to eat though, and I'm like, okay, so where's the eating happening?
Well, they don't know. They kind of address that. They're like, I'm not even sure what's going on.
Yeah, I love how McCoy's baffled by it. He's the scientist.
McCoy's obsessed that I need to know.
Yeah, I like that Spock doesn't like them though. Like Spock at the end
he says he doesn't like them, but he loves them.
Because at the end when he's talking to within the room with everyone, and he's given it's when the salesman's accused of being a Klingon agent. Like the guy accuses him first of being a Klingon. And he's like, oh no, nothing in his record would indicate this. Over the past few years, he's made his living on a single ship, one-man ship. He sells rare goods, which unfortunately includes Tribbles. It's just the way he puts that little bit of salt in there at the end. He doesn't have to. Like Spock claims he doesn't care, but like that's him
but
caring.
This is a point of him just trying to show that he doesn't care, like going over the top. Because that scene where they're all in the recreation room and they've all got the Tribbles, and Spock picks it up and he's like, oh yeah, this sound it's very soothing to humans. Good job, it doesn't affect me. And he's stroking it. And
they all look at him and he realizes and
he just puts it down. It's like, no, I don't care.
No, there's good little moments like that. It's a blast. I think everything from even just the idea that Kirk gets like this not a superior per se, but this official who he immediately dislikes because he thinks he's misusing his power. So for the rest of the episode, he is like making these snide little remarks. He's being sarcastic like nobody's business.
That's it, because he's like he's getting ready to go and complain to the chain of command, and then he gets there and they're like, yeah, go protect the grain. He's like, damn it, really? I've got to give this guy what he wants.
Yeah, it's again. I think this is the first where he's just outright sarcastic, and like cause even the first time they meet at the end of that scene. He's like, oh, I've never met an official that I've disrespected until now. And then walks out. Like, he's so catty with him. It's like, it's just kind of funny to see Kirk like actually say, no, this guy's an asshole. Even though I'm supposed to be doing what he's telling me, this guy's an asshole. Yeah. And it's kind of like, Kirk isn't always necessarily the one playing by the rules. He will go outside the boundaries of the Prime Directive and everything else if he needs to on occasion. And in this case, it's just a fun example because it's no, this guy's a bit of an asshole. I'm going to give him a hard time because he's earned it.
Yeah, it's fun. Although it's ironic that the guy earned it by kind of going outside the rules a little bit.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. The reason it's his disrespect for the rules that makes Kirk kind of give up his normal respect for someone.
Yeah, it's just amusing because I think it's very hypocritical of him, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of. Well, it's funny. I'd say it's more hypocritical of the Undersecretary of Agriculture. He's got a really long title. Yeah. And it is more hypocritical for him because he's the one who initiates it. Does that make sense?
I mean, in the sense, it's hypocritical for Kirk he dislikes this guy because he broke the rules, but Kirk will break the rules to get what he wants, and it's fine.
Well, sure, but I feel like Kirk typically breaks the rules because he thinks things are in a dire situation. I think the reason why he dislikes this guy is because he makes something feel like a dire situation when it's not. This guy is essentially cried wolf, and that's Kirk's problem.
Yeah, but I mean, you say that, but the rest of Starfleet Command agree with this guy. They're like, yeah, protect that grain at all costs. It's essential. This is serious. This is, priority one. Kirk's kind of in the wrong.
Well, no, he's not. Because If this was it feels like the Starfleet only know it's priority one because after this incident they found out about it. So when Kirk calls, he's like, "Yeah, this grain's really important. Do what he says. Protect it." Like, had things went through proper channels, he would have got a call from Starfleet saying, "Hey, here's your orders. You have to go to this starbase and protect this guy's grain."
Probably, yeah.
But instead, he put in a distress call saying he was under attack. So they all show up expecting Klingon ships, and there's nothing there.
But it got him there, got the job done. Kirk's all for that, usually.
That's not the point. That's not the... That's like, you know, phoning the police with the emergency number only to be like, "Oh yeah, I got you here, but there's just, you know, I'm having like a noise complaint to make. Neighbours are being loud." This is a problem with that. You don't call the emergency number for a noise complaint.
Disagree.
It's a waste of everyone's time.
It depends how loud they are.
No, it doesn't. It's just noise. If it's dangerous noise, if it's like, oh, it sounds like they're sharpening machetes next there and hacking someone to bits, that's different. Because then it's noise that sounds like someone's been murdered. That's an emergency.
Yeah.
Unless it's you that's been murdered, in which case it's actually a cause for celebration. You're not phoning the police. You're phoning the party planners, the fireworks display professionals. I want a whole display out in the park. Thousands will attend.
Thousands.
That's how deep the hatred of you goes.
See, is it a celebration I'm dead, or is it really that they're all celebrating my life?
No, definitely you're dead. Definitely that one.
Yeah. Okay. No.
Definitely
Worth checking.
Yeah. I can't. You are the dick who would dispute that Kirk was out of line. Not happy that he used the distress call.
Well,
for
no.
this.
I think he's right to be annoyed. I just think it's funny that Kirk would probably do like a similar thing. He'll bend the rules when it suits him. Is all, and he still expects the respect.
When he expects when the stakes are high, he will do it. Yes, but this was not
when he believes the stakes are high. This undersecretary man believes the stakes are high.
Yeah, the stakes are high, but it's like if he puts in the call saying, "Hey, you need to come protect the grain, check with Starfleet," they'd get there probably pretty quickly still.
Probably.
Besides, Fat Lot of good it did anyway. They still got poisoned.
It did.
Kirk
if Kirk had done a better job, maybe they wouldn't have.
He put his two best red shirts on the case.
No, exactly. If he'd taken it seriously, maybe he'd have sent someone good down there, and we wouldn't have got a poisoned grain. Still have been eaten by Tribbles, don't get me wrong, but
that's the trouble with Tribbles. I guess to answer the question, it's not a question, but to sort of explain the statement of the title, the trouble with Tribbles is that they duplicate too much. I mean, that's the real trouble.
Yes.
They duplicate at an alarming rate, and they all eat the little bastards. So that's the trouble with Tribbles, for the record.
Great episode.
Very good episode. So let us know what you think of this one in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on Twitter at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the channel, support the show, head over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv. You can do that over there. You get these a week early at the $1 tier, so, you know, that's something. But otherwise, guys, that is us. So thank you once again for watching. Keep watching Star Trek and other cool old sci-fi shows, because it's fun to go back and check out where things began before we got to where we are now. You have to understand how to do a simple spaceship design before you have all your Dutch angles and lens flares. We have to have progression. We don't just jump to one of them.
It's a really long outro.
Live long and prosper. We will see you next time.